Stop everything. If your silver is sitting in a vault right now, you have 72 hours to move it before Monday's opening bell. I'm not being dramatic. The document I'm holding proves the seizure mechanism is already active. This is John Funds AG, March 5th, 2026. While you were celebrating silver hitting $82 this week, calculating your net worth and feeling vindicated, something happened in the legal framework of allocated storage that the dealers are terrified to tell you. You need to understand what allocated actually means under the new emergency banking provisions. On March 2nd, 3 days ago, the CFTC quietly amended Rule 1.25 regarding commodity segregation during systemic liquidity events. The language is buried in subsection D, paragraph 7. Let me translate it for you. If a systemically important bank, JP Morgan, Citibank, HSBC, faces margin calls they cannot meet in precious metals, they now have legal authority to redesignate allocated customer metal as unallocated pool assets to satisfy clearinghouse demands. Your silver. The bars with your name on them, the metal you paid storage fees for, can be swept into their balance sheet to cover their short positions. And it's legal now. This is not a theory. We know from last week's repo data, the $23.4 billion emergency liquidity injection on February 28th, that at least 2 GSIBs are hemorrhaging cash on their metals desks. At $82 silver, every dollar up creates $63 million in losses per 1,000 contracts. The February short position, according to the QOT report, released Tuesday, shows commercial shorts holding 287,000 contracts. Do the math. 287,000 contracts times 5,000 ounces equals 1.435 billion ounces of paper silver sold. At $80, that's $117 billion in notional exposure. If silver hits $90 by Monday, that's an additional $11.5 billion in margin calls. They don't have it. So here's what the amended rule allows. The bank files a Form ST-47 with the CFTC declaring a temporary liquidity accommodation necessity. Within 48 hours, your allocated metal is re-characterized. You still own it on paper, but now it's also on their balance sheet as an asset they can pledge to the clearinghouse. It's like your car is still titled in your name, but the bank can now drive it to the pawn shop and use it as collateral without asking you. Now, here's where it gets darker. And this is the part the allocated storage companies are not telling you. The rule has a clawback provision. If the bank defaults, if they cannot return the metal within 90 days of the emergency declaration, you don't get your bars back. You get a cash settlement at the price silver was trading when they filed the ST-47. Let's say they file Monday morning at $82. Silver runs to $120 by June because the default creates a supply panic. You don't get $120 per ounce. You get $82, minus storage fees, minus administrative costs. They stole your metal at $82 and you watch it moon to $120, holding a check for 30% less than the real value. This is not speculation. This is the legal framework that went live 72 hours ago. Now, the allocated storage industry will tell you, your metal is segregated. We have insurance. This doesn't apply to you. Wrong. Read the insurance policy. Every major vault, Brinks, Loomis, Delaware Depository, has a force majeure clause. If a government regulatory body mandates reallocation under financial emergency statutes, insurance is void. I have the Brinks policy language right here. Section 11.3.f. Coverage does not extend to seizure, requisition, or redesignation under lawful regulatory order. It's in writing. Why now? Why did the CFTC make this change on March 2nd? Because the Chinese Metals Exchange in Shanghai just announced they will demand physical settlement for 100% of their silver contracts starting March 15th. 10 days from now, that's 47 million ounces that must leave Western vaults and ship to Shanghai. The registered COMEX silver inventory, as of this morning, 41.2 million ounces. The math doesn't work. So the CFTC is giving the banks a legal escape hatch. Your allocated metal becomes their emergency reserve. But here's what they didn't count on. You can still move it. You have this weekend. Monday morning, the first ST-47 filings will hit. By Tuesday, your metal is frozen pending emergency review. Listen carefully. If your silver is in any vault operated by a company with ties to a GSIB bank, you need to initiate a withdrawal request today, not Monday. Today. The process takes 48-72 hours. If you file today, you take delivery Saturday or Monday before the freeze. If you wait until Monday to file, you're in the queue behind the institutions who are already moving. Check your vault agreement right now. Look for Section 11 or Section 14, the emergency provision section. If it references regulatory compliance or government mandate, you are exposed. For 3 years, you held physical silver because you knew the paper system was a fraud. You knew the banks were leveraged to insanity. You knew the shortage was real. You were right. And now the system is so desperate, they're changing the rules mid-game to take your metal. Do not let them. Here's what you do this weekend. Call your vault. Demand immediate withdrawal or transfer to a non-bank affiliated facility. If they say processing delays, that's code for we're already getting ST47 requests. Move it to a private vault. Move it to your home. Move it to a non-US jurisdiction if you can, but move it before Monday. The banks are trapped. The Chinese are draining the system. The price is going to $100, then $150. But only the people who hold physical metal outside the banking system will benefit. The ones who trusted allocated storage are about to learn the hardest lesson in the history of precious metals. This is the moment that separates the stackers from the bag holders. You have 72 hours. The seizure mechanism is live. The legal framework is in place. The margin calls are coming. Get your silver out. Before Monday. Before the filings start. Before your allocated metal becomes their emergency liquidity. This is John Funds AG. I've been warning you for months. The end game is here. Do not be the one who waited. Like this video, share it with every stacker you know and get your metal out of the system. The clock is ticking.